In the summer of 1944, the shadow of the Third Reich stretched across a European continent gripped by conflict.
Adolf Hitler's authority seemed absolute, yet deep within Germany, some officers planned a daring, clandestine rebellion.
Their objective was a desperate attempt to halt the leader they had once followed, seeing no other option.
This is the incredible story of Operation Valkyrie. A final.
By the year 1943, the tide of the immense global conflict had decisively turned against the German forces.
Allied armies advanced relentlessly from the west, while the Soviet Red Army pushed hard from the Eastern Front.
The once seemingly invincible German military machine had begun to buckle under the overwhelming two-front pressure.
However, inside Hitler's own circle, not everyone was blind to the rapidly approaching and inevitable military disaster.
High-ranking officers, intellectuals and patriots, men who had previously sworn loyalty, now faced a difficult truth.
They believed Germany was being led toward total destruction by the Führer's increasingly erratic strategic decisions.
Prominent among these dissenting figures was Colonel Claus von Stauffenberg, a brilliant and highly decorated military officer.
He was no longer just a soldier following orders, but a man possessing a new, firm determination to act.
In the shadows of Berlin, a highly secret network of conspirators began to form among the German elite.
Senior officers, lawyers, and politicians were all bound by one singular, dangerous mission: to remove Adolf Hitler.
They codenamed their ambitious plan Operation Valkyrie, ironically, a contingency plan created by the Wehrmacht itself. It was originally designed to secure domestic order during a major internal revolt or massive civil unrest.
The conspirators cleverly rewrote the plan to seize total control of the state immediately after Hitler's removal.
Colonel von Stauffenberg soon became the central figure, the essential key to the entire operation's success.
Generals Olbrich, Beck, and Tresckow worked tirelessly to reshape Valkyrie into a functional blueprint for a coup.
The personal risk involved in their conspiracy was almost unimaginable. Every single move was considered high treason.
Discovery by the Gestapo meant certain and severe consequences, not just for them, but for their families.
By July of 1944, the final, desperate trap was finally ready to be sprung by the plotters.
It involved a plastic explosive concealed in the briefcase, a timed detonator, and Stauffenberg's personal courage.
On the morning of July 20th, Colonel von Stauffenberg boarded a transport plane for the Wolf's Lair.
This was Hitler's heavily fortified headquarters in East Prussia, the site of a fateful strategy meeting.
Stauffenberg carefully placed his briefcase, containing the prime device, under the heavy oak map table.
He placed it just feet from Hitler, then quickly excused himself, pretending to take an urgent phone call.
At exactly 12:42 p.m., the concealed explosive device detonated with immense and devastating force inside the hut.
The conference room was completely devastated by the blast, choked with smoke and debris. Stauffenberg saw this.
He believed the unthinkable had finally happened. Adolf Hitler had been eliminated by the explosion.
Convinced of his success, he raced back to Berlin to trigger Operation Valkyrie, the coup to seize Germany.
But history and the heavy oak table had other plans. The blast had failed to eliminate Hitler.
The Führer was wounded and shaken, but very much alive, and he was now aware of the betrayal.
Back in Berlin on July 20th, Colonel Stauffenberg landed, still confident that Hitler was dead.
He immediately began to set the complex plan of Operation Valkyrie into motion from Army headquarters.
Telephone lines crackled with activity as orders flew out to mobilize units of the vital reserve army.
The orders were issued under the false pretext that radical SS forces had attempted their own coup. Soldiers loyal to Stauffenberg moved quickly, securing key ministries and arresting several high-ranking Nazi officials.
For a few brief, flickering hours in the afternoon, it actually seemed to be working as planned.
But amidst the growing chaos, critical uncertainty began to spread. Many key officers started to hesitate.
Then, the Führer's voice came over the radio, alive, angry, and unbroken. In that moment, everything collapsed.
The illusion of success was shattered instantly.
By midnight, forces loyal to Hitler had regained full control of the capital city and its key positions.
Stauffenberg, Ulbrich, and the others were surrounded inside the Bendler block, their army headquarters and coup center.
General Fromm, who had known of the plot, quickly turned against them in an attempt to save himself. He declared a summary court-martial and ordered the immediate arrest of the core plotters on the spot.
He was blind in one eye, missing his right hand from his war wounds, yet remained completely unbroken. The shots echoed in the night. The rebellion was violently crushed. The coup was over. Operation Valkyrie was over.
In the days and weeks that followed, the regime's response was swift and severe against all involved.
Over 7,000 people were arrested in the ensuing crackdown, and many faced summary trials.
Nearly 200 individuals connected to the plot were ultimately executed for their roles in the conspiracy.
These were generals, intellectuals, and officers who had lost their lives, becoming symbols of a nation's conscience.
But while their desperate plan had ultimately failed, their immense personal courage did not go unnoticed by history.
Operation Valkyrie became a powerful symbol that even in times of tyranny, people of honor dared to resist.
Years later, as Germany was rebuilt from the ruins of the war, Stauffenberg's name became a reminder.
He reminded the world that patriotism is not defined by blind obedience, but by profound moral courage.
As the world continues to reflect on the immense human costs of conflict, one lesson remains eternal.
Regimes may rise and fall, but the defiant spirit of those who resist injustice often lives on forever. This has been the story of Operation Valkyrie, the audacious plot to end Adolf Hitler's reign from within.
It remains a timeless story of incredible honor, profound sacrifice, and the enduring nature of internal rebellion.